Så at man har fått inn litt folk her, og klokka har passert 11, så jeg kan i hvert fall si velkommen da. Og litt sånne praktiske ting til å begynne med. En kort introduksjon og velkommen fra meg. Og jeg er han til høyre på bildet her med briller, og han til venstre, dette er vel fra Las Vegas som var på Ice Bar. Jeg var litt skuffet over deg, Petter, når vi var inne på den Ice-baren, når du tok på deg sånne der varmjakker og så videre, mens jeg og Mats fra Finland, vi gikk i t-skjorte. Det er forskjell på folk. Men da skal i hvert fall Petter da snakke litt om, han jobber jo i Tableau Salesforce, og skal snakke litt om Tableau Next, hva det er for noen ting, vise en demo, og så skal jeg vise litt på Trailhead Academy, hvordan en kan komme litt i gang med å lære seg litt om både Tableau Next, men generelt sett en veldig god ressurs for læring. Så jeg skal vise litt om det. Så tar vi da selvfølgelig en Q&A hvis folk har spørsmål og så videre. Så da er det bare til å bruke chatten, eller den Q&A-funksjonen som finnes i Bevy. Så skal jeg monitorere den, og så tar vi de spørsmålene etter hvert. Og som driver Norway Tableau User Group, det er Marlene fra Retriever, det er Atle fra ICE, og så er det meg fra Crayon Consulting. Akkurat i dag så sitter jeg faktisk live fra Berlin, for jeg er på jobbtur, men jeg reiste ned en dag før alle andre, fordi at jeg var på Berlin Tableau User Group og hadde presentasjon i går, kombinert med Analytics User Group, så det var en fin måte å få lov å reise ned en ekstra dag. Så vi jobber jo med å skaffe foredragsholdere og ha disse arrangementene som vi kjører 4 ganger i året, i hvert fall det som er planen. Kommer tilbake igjen til det på slutten, men vi har allerede nå landet ganske mye av programmet for Nordic Supertug, sånn som vi hadde i fjor, så skal ha folk som presenterer for alle de 5 nordiske landene pluss en keynote. Som vanlig så blir det tatt opp. Det er ikke noe audio-video på dere som ser på her, men bruk Q&A eller den chatten hvis dere har noen spørsmål til meg eller til andre eller til Peter da. Så det er vel de praktiske tingene. Nevner nå det at Dreamforce, det er jo Salesforce sin konferanse. Den hvis det vet ikke om noen som skal du det forresten, Peter, til San Francisco nå i oktober?
Nej. Men det finns en gratis registration, så man anmäler sig för the free version så får man länkar till alla recorded sessions.
Ja, på Salesforce Plus, på samme måte som det var med Tableau-konferansen. Så det er å anbefale. Det er veldig mye spennende som ikke har med Salesforce direkte, men som har med Tableau å gjøre, så anbefales å sjekke ut det. Jeg har lagt meg jeg har jo en bruker fra før, men jeg har begynt å se gjennom agendaen og så finne litt ting som jeg ønsker å se på. Så det er bare å gå på Salesforce Plus. Men har du ikke tid til det, eller ikke lyst til å reise til San Francisco, så kommer jo DataFam Europe tilbake igjen. Det som jeg og noen andre startet for noen år siden med Visit Berlin og Visit London ble til DataFam Europe i fjor og til DataFam Europe i år, 2. og 3. desember. Perfekt unnskyldning til å reise til London på litt før juleshopping. Hvis du skanner den QR-koden her eller bare søker på DataFam Europe, så får du en sånn save the date, og så kommer det en påmelding med å kjøpe billetter og så videre, kommer om ikke så veldig lenge, og da satser de på rundt 600 deltakere. Det blir veldig mye, jeg tror det i hvert fall 3 sånne tracks som kommer til å gå, så det kommer til å bli veldig mye bra sesjoner. Selv om sesjonene ikke er valgt ennå, så har i hvert fall jeg levert inn et par, så jeg håper at jeg får lov å ha minst en presentasjon der da, men det blir i hvert fall litt kortere vei å reise, og 2 dager fullpakket med bra program. Så har du lyst å ha en presentasjon, når du har noe interessant å dele, så er det bare til å gå inn på den lenken som er her, for da, innen mandag, så kan en levere en søknad for å ha en presentasjon. Da. Så det er jo, da får du jo gratis, ikke flytur og hotell, men du får gratis billett til konferansen, så det er jo et lite tips. Så det var det neste møte. Jeg tok den nå med en gang siden den lå her. Flurridge Twins, nok av disse skalla-folkene i data her, bold men in data. De skal ha keynoten. De kommer ikke til Norge, men vi satser på å møtes på Rebell fysisk for de som vil. Så skal de ha en keynote, How to do cool things in Tableau. Så vil det være Sokkeldirektoratet, tidligere og Oljedirektoratet, som skal ha en presentasjon for den norske delen. Jeg venter på detaljene for den svenske og den danske, og så har vi noe som heter CPP Games fra Island, som skal ha en presentasjon, og så skal Tero, som var med i fjor, fra Solita i Finland, han skal vise 25 måter å visualisere data hvis du har en sånn Fitbit eller en eller annen type app da. Så det ble litt moro. Og så møtes vi fysisk, så blir det jo mat og drikke og nettverking som vanlig. Så 20. november, bare sett opp i kalenderen med en gang. Og så skal jeg gå tilbake her og ta stoppdeling, og så skal vi over til deg, Peter. Så kan du få lov å dele din skjerm.
Yes.
Så det er ikke at jeg ikke ser på deg hvis jeg ser denne.
Jeg skal gjøre det. Skal vi se her. Ja, mitt navn Tore Levinsen, akkurat direkte her fra Bergen. Det koselig gøy å delta her i den norske anvendergruppen, så mye godt å få delta her. Så kan dere se skjermen min.
Ja, it's loading, det ser man, ja.
All right, fantastic. Are you monitoring that? Do you want me to continue in not Norwegian, in Swedish or Norwegian?
You do you. People have
okay. I'll do it easy for myself and do this in English. Not because I think I'm a better English speaker than Swedish speaker, but I have done this presentation a lot more in English, so I will just do it in English. Yeah. As you have seen, Tore has created these amazing buttons that are becoming so popular on the events. And I'm thinking either creating my own button that is, I am not Tore Levinsen, or I could actually like work on my Bergen impression and keep using my Norwegian shirt and all that. And maybe I will pass for Tore at some of these events. And I know that will open a lot of doors for me as well. But that's just an idea. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, we have been confused for each other over the years in the community at some of the events, and I apologize for that, Tore, but it is what it is. My name is Peter. I'm Swedish. I'm an employee of Tableau, Salesforce, but yeah, from the previous, before the acquisition, I belong to Tableau now as a Salesforce employee, and talk a little about agentic analytics, a new era of data-driven action or data-driven actionability of analytics. I'll introduce a bit of Tableau Next. Let's do that. I don't have 60-minute worth of content. I will share that immediately. So we'll do this. We'll take a little bit of introduction to Tableau Next, where it's coming from, and the demo of the product. And I'm pretty sure we have time for Q&As towards the end if there are any questions and so forth. But let's rock on it that way. I really don't think I'm going to present a whole lot of things that is not released, because Tableau Next is released. But hey, just in case, since it is recorded and somebody might ask me a roadmap question and I might actually answer to it, I will be protected here by this, that we can talk about that. Where are we coming from? I mean, we know this, that being an analyst or being a worker, a data worker in an organization today, it's I'm not going to say it's tricky, but it involves more than it ever has, right? I mean, you need to be a bit of like a data analyst or a system integrator if you want to connect to data. Maybe also a visualization expert if you want to like visualize this and help people see and understand data. Depending on how you connect with that data and work with it, maybe a bit of like data engineering skills, researching some of these backgrounds of what are we looking at and why did a certain dip occur or an outlier in a chart. But also, of course, like, hey, you need that veteran employee every now and then to ask those questions about, I don't know, outdated data sources and whatever. We could want to hire more people to be provided all of these skills and contributions. A data analyst, a system integrator. We're looking at a picture of Andy Cotgreaves there for visualization expert. But we know that's not that's not even financially feasible. That's not going to fly. We're not going to be able to multiply the number of employees just because our data landscape or analytical landscape is getting more complex and so forth. We're just going to need to figure out to do this, do it with tools, do it with skills, do it with assistance of what we got. But what we're going to be able to do more and more moving forward, we're going to be able to use agents. Some agents will be able to help us do certain things. Not all of it. We're not going to pretend or expect, it's not going to be realistic to think that analytical agents will replace everything we know around visualizations or data engineering and so forth. But by all means, it will at least assist us in getting a few steps further. That's for sure. And we're seeing that already. And that's kind of like the entire background, I would say, of what we're doing with Tableau Next, where it's coming from, why we're putting it on the floor, and so forth. So Tableau Next is, if you haven't heard it already from Tableau or Salesforce, it is the next version, the next capability on our analytics platform, completely rebuilt or newly built product from the ground up. What's so new about it? Well, it's actually built on the Salesforce platform. We know Tableau, Tableau Cloud, Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server. Everything is legacy product that has been part of the acquisition through Tableau, and it was built through the Seattle R&D. And as we proudly know, those products exist, will continue, live forever, and those are the products we live and die by. But from a Salesforce perspective, we need also this analytical capabilities embedded and breathing and living inside of the Salesforce platform. We call it Hyperforce. Hyperforce is the platform upon which all Salesforce components or Salesforce applications are built upon. We call it also like internally the Customer 360. Agentforce is around that with a lot of agentic capabilities and so forth. But what we're also seeing here, released now this summer, it was launched a lot earlier, but we were actually GA released here in the summer, is now also Tableau Next. And I would be surprised if quite a few of you already seen it or seen glimpses or seen some demos, but like repetition is the mother of all learning, right? So if you've seen some of it already, that's pretty good. I will show it. If you haven't seen it at all, then it's even better. Then I get the opportunity to introduce you to what it is. Looking at it from like, let's call it like the back end, I mean, the data layer. Data Cloud is the foundation upon which Tableau Next resides on when it comes to data accessibility, right? So Data Cloud is where we orchestrate connectivity to other data sources. It could be, I don't know, Workday or Twitter. I see we're already even on roadmap talking about TikTok data. I mean, a lot of streaming data, things like that, real time, but also, of course, like systems like Google BigQuery, Databricks, Snowflake, and so forth will all be part of this native connectivity through this data layer. But already here, we're introducing things that I personally think we were struggling a bit with from the Tableau event. I mean, talking about real time. I was not very easy use case to work with from a Tableau point of view when we are depending on the SQL generated queries and so forth. But we have a way to orchestrate real time connectivity. Structured, unstructured and semi-structured data is also something that we're bringing here to harmonize with the data availability. We're going to see a lot more of that coming in from the data layer, and that's something that's going to open up for capabilities also with the Tableau. When the data is there, data availability, we have data lake objects, as we call it in Data Cloud. Then we're introducing a semantic layer, and semantic layer is not necessarily a Tableau component. Semantic layer lives and provides data components, data products to other areas within the Salesforce platform. You remember the ecosystem that I showed of Customer 360. But Tableau Next is one of the biggest beneficiaries right now of the semantic layer, because here we can access tables and relationships and meta facts and so forth based on the agentic data that is available through Data Cloud. And we're doing this with a bit of like preparation and connectivity, and here we'll also create customized calculations and so forth. So we're in a way pushing down some of the capabilities that we used to see in Tableau Desktop and Tableau Cloud into the data foundation here with Tableau Next. And we're going to keep more of the visualization components, metrics components, dashboard components within Tableau Next. So by all intents and purposes, it is a much more coherent and living, breathing organism and productivity inside of Salesforce as we move along. And of course, dashboards, metrics, and self-service, data exploration, some of these things that we have grown accustomed to being provided out of the box with, like in our opinion, the best data visualization product on the planet Earth. But that's also, of course, where we see the majority of the fun stuff, good stuff, colorful or insightful stuff coming out of Tableau Next, being these areas. And in that, talking about like agentic capabilities, we see an action layer as well. So we're taking it a bit further, looking at, okay, I see a dashboard, that's pretty interesting, but if I have more questions, where do I go? I mean, now we have an agent force for analytics, a conversational analytics interface where we can ask questions to the data and get more of an Gen AI exploration capability inside of the platform. But all of that will be part more of the demo. I do this. I usually like to start and think, I don't know how many of you are actually Salesforce customers or using Salesforce or other systems, but I will play this a bit from the Salesforce angle, as you understand, because that's where the product originates from. But of course, you could connect to any data. You don't need to have Salesforce to run Tableau Next, but it will come with the platform. So some of my examples, some of my data capabilities, and here we're looking at Slack, will be, of course, a bit Salesforce centric, but it's not necessary. But for the demonstration purposes, I like to think that more and more we're seeing analytical capabilities and insights occurring in other interfaces than necessarily the dashboard portal or the BI portal or anything like that. We will see a growth of having like, oh, I see something is happening in, for example, a collaboration interface here, Slack or Microsoft Teams or things like that. And we will see the metrics, we will be able to dive into it. We see here Matt and Harry, some of these people on this sales team, they're collaborating, talking a bit of what's going on. All of a sudden, Sarah, the manager, appears here. Hey, team, you see my metric digest just came in. I noticed our total sales are down. Let's dig into this. I mean, what is that? Is that a GIF, a picture of it? Like, no, this is live. I could like interact with this with my agent right here to see what's going on, or I can copy a link, explore this directly into Tableau. So this is a live metric inside the flow of work. Could have been in email, in Slack, or in SAP or a transactional system, but I see it here. It's like we need to act on this. So I can like drill into this here, but here in Slack I also have something called team metrics. Click on that little button, and in my team metrics, this is where we're tracking the interesting or very, very important metrics, KPIs of our team, of our organization. In this case, from a sales perspective, we want to look at pipeline generation. How is that doing? Our total cumulative sales is a bit stagnating, right? Conversion rate, customers attending or prospects attending events, how many of those are converting, and sales cycles and so forth. So I see a couple of metrics. And as you can see, this is not necessarily a dashboard or anything. This is just like a collection of important or interesting metrics that we might want to be on the lookout for. So in this case, I look at, for example, Tableau total sales cumulative. Click on that, and I can see some insight based on this, where it comes from. I can see some conversations that have already started to happening around this. I can actually go ahead and double click on this, and where did we go? And get right into my dashboard of Tableau Next, and this is where those metrics live from a dashboard perspective. So going from original insight into deeper insight is like a click away from a collaboration platform into more of like a dashboard environment. And then, of course, I realize we're recognizing this as a more traditional dashboard environment and so forth. I see my executive summary. since I'm like more responsible for small business, I can drill on that, and we see the behavior as expected in a regular dashboard and so forth. Well, that's good and all. What I'm also seeing here as a seasoned business leader, sales is going down. I mean, I see a bit of a disturbing trend, but what I'm also doing, my trained eye, I'm looking for outliers, right? So in this case, when we're looking for sales execution from a CRM perspective, we're currently probably looking at opportunities over period. So here we're looking at opportunities that will probably close between 0 to 30 days, 1 to 3 months, and more than 6. And that's all fine. That's as expected. What matters more is that we have a bunch over here in overdue. These had the idea or expectation of close much earlier, but they're not. They're now passed on to overdue. And some of those are in qualification, value prop, or proposal stages, but also negotiation and overview. We have $1.3 million worth of opportunities in overdue. And if I drill on that, of course, any sales leader would go like, these are my outliers. This is information that I want to drill into. Looking at, for example, this opportunity by Carmen Vega. If I go ahead and click on that. There we go. I have the opportunity to directly from that outlier drill into that opportunity, drill into that account and see what's going on. Here we're going from insight into action. And then again, this is an area where I personally fell a bit short many times from a Tableau perspective. When I'm looking at data and I see some outliers, see something happening, but what do I do now? How do I act on this information? I mean, do I need to swivel chair over to another application to go in and look that opportunity idea up, or can I like act from it directly from within the dashboard? We're solving some of that today with we have advanced dashboard actions. We can do certain things within Tableau, but I'll show you a bit here of what we're doing here in Tableau Next in such a scenario. So here we go. Okay, this is my dashboard. This is what I'm looking at. What about a dashboard? How relevant is a dashboard today? I'm not going to go as far talking to this dashboard is dead kind of thing. I don't care. But what we do know, the definition of my personal definition of a dashboard is like it's a screen collection of somebody else's questions. Somebody built this for me and my team, right? They put 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different charts together. They built 6 different filter buttons, hoping that this will probably solve or answer to 80-85% of the questions that a guy like me would have. That's what it is. Somebody else thought this up. What happens when smart people, well, I'm not going to say about smart people, what happens when good people look at dashboards? Well, they come up with more questions. What about this one compared to what? Is this total sales just for my region, or what would that look like if I compare this with Germany or Scandinavia to the rest of EMEA or North America? There are many questions that pop up immediately when you're looking at an piece of information. We're looking at a metric, right? Introducing the agent. So if I have more questions around it, let's open this guy and see what's going on. So in this case, analytics and visualization agent is by all means agent force that is used on all the other applications and products within the Salesforce family and the Salesforce platform. But we have a version of it that is looking at the metadata, and is looking at the semantic modeled data that we have made available, example, in this dashboard, but also for the entire data availability that we have. So it follows the guides and principles of the rest of the agentic capabilities of Salesforce with guardrails and things like that, scenting for toxicity and all of that. But this is only for Tableau and Tableau Next consumption. So when I'm asking, like, what happened to total sales in previous quarter? Well, here's the analysis. The total sales for the previous quarter. Total sales for small business accounts decreased. What does it mean, small business account? Can I trust this information? I'll look at the source here. It's filtered on small bit. Oh yeah, so it's actually picking up not only what's in my semantic data, but it's also looking at what else have you already filtered on? What else is in the business context of the question you're asking? Well, that's pretty clever. I mean, it's picking up that I've already filtered down on small business, and it's telling me a bit of the decrease on that. I have another question here. What if we break that down? I have $534, almost $535,000 of sales in small business. That is a 12.5% decline. I knew that. Sarah Pallas told us in the chat that we had a bit of a decline, right? But what if I want to break that down by total sales by product family? And again, following the train of thought, the business context, now it's actually giving me a visualization. So the breakdown of total sales product for small business follows as this. We have everyday wear, tech fit. Here are top 5 sales products in that department. I said, wow, that's great. I see where we're going. We have a decline. These are my best products. Hey, I'm not going to tell my manager this, but if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know what I should focus on. What should I focus on? How should I turn that around? What would be the best way to attack this information if I only have accessibility to the data I'm actually looking at? And so I'm asking like an open-ended question. What should I focus on based on the information that we've already seen? And the agent comes back. Here's what you should focus on if you want to address the sales decline. You want to focus on, consider the utility collection and performance line product as they experience the most significant decreases. Wow. It gave me something based on that very, very open-ended question, but not because he was trained to do it, but he was actually looking at the data. Again, just like a regular query. That's pretty good. Show me, in that case, the top 5 customers that bought, what we say, utility collection, because that seems to be the problem area. We negated almost 700K growth on utility collection. So that area or the customers in that segment would be of particular interest to me at this point, I think. So again, as you see, I'm following a train of thought that I have, and I'm just asking the agent to deliver. In all honesty, this is a live demo, so I'm not 100% all of the time sure what the product will go and what it will show me when I'm doing this open-ended question. I know it will most likely come back with something of interest, but I'm not 100% sure. So those customers were Core Theory, Connect Phone, and so forth. Okay. Would it be a good idea to create a sales campaign to boost sales? Or maybe I should have added in, for example, in Q3 or to targeted at these customers and so forth, because now I'm pivoting over here to looking at what does the marketing area of my application think, and how can that be set up based on the data. Creating a sales campaign could be a strategic move to address the observable. Well, already. So I'm doing what we're accustomed to be doing, from like availability of data, availability of a dashboard, but the agent can help me define or respond to live questions, just as I would if I would, drag and drop and create these queries on the fly in my favorite Tableau desktop tool or Cloud Online or so forth. But it's also giving me business context and reasoning behind it. So I think we're adding to that agentic layer and components that we've been looking for over time. So good deal there. That is part of where we are today, where we're heading with the application and the product, going more towards agentic analytics, conversational BI, and things like that, embedded right into the product. how do we get there? What's behind the scenes? If this is the new, let's call it the new interface, the new version of Tableau, what does that look like? So I'm moving over here to my, call it like the back end or the admin compartment here. This is a workspace called Sales Cloud. In here, I have the dashboard that you were just looking at. I have a bunch of visualizations that are already created. Some of them are used in the different pages of that dashboard. But I also have my semantic model over here. This is the data. This is the model upon which all the metrics, KPIs, and so forth you saw are being built. Okay. Edit there. And what I can do, I can add more data if I want to. I can go ahead. These are the objects that are available. I could add more of these DLOs that are available, or there are other data lake objects that are available on my data cloud environment. And these may not be Salesforce. These could be Databricks tables or Snowflake tables that have been federated to appear and be made available to me, so that I can query data from Salesforce joined with Snowflake tables or SQL Server or Azure BigQuery for that matter. You need to peer through data lake objects, of course, but this is made available to me right here, and then I would put those relationships together right here in my semantic layer. This is where we're going with the dimensional modeling and so forth, as we had introduced, as you've seen in traditional Tableau a while ago. This is the version of that within the frame of Tableau Next. And here is where I would work with those relationships and so forth. Sorry about that. What I can also do is I can add content to this right here. I can add parameters, I can add calculated fields and metrics. These are the calculated fields that are that have been created here. Some of the calculations are from the fact tables of my data, of course, but I can actually go in right here and say, what about if we create one of those traditional Tableau things, you know, we're used to like writing our own syntax and so forth, and we can do LODs, we can do table calcs, we can do all of that right here as well. But you know what I usually do when I'm a bit insecure about what a certain level of detail calculation or table, well, usually I call Tore. I mean, Tore would know more than I about certain table calculations and things like that, but I also Google a lot. I would open a favorite browser and just like type, see if there's anybody else who've already done it. If we use a simple example, create a, let's say, running sales total table calc, and I draft it with Einstein. I let the tool itself figure this out if it's smart enough to come up with a running sum total. I mean, you test it out and see if we can do some more advanced cohort LODs and things like that. But it's pretty smart. It's pretty smart in how it uses our table calc and LOD libraries and calculational libraries and so forth. And they do that based on what I typed in. It comes back with something. It says, okay, this is probably going to be a measure. Data type is number. We give it a cool name. And this is what you might have been asking for. I can adjust that syntax if I want, but I'm going to say that looks pretty good. Not only that, this is the almost most important part, the description. I'm not going to embarrass you and ask hands up who of you are actually always inputting a good, solid business content description of all the calculated fields that you create, because I know we don't, but we should, not only for the benefit of the users who might open those and wonder what that calculation is all about, but we're going to have to do it going forward if we want to use LLMs. If we're going to use agentic exploration of the data that we provide, we're going to have to provide solid, good business descriptions of what we're doing so that the agent can pick it up and leverage it and use it. So this is by all means, I think, the biggest benefit I have of using this Einstein draft when I'm creating this calculation, and it's actually giving me a good description. So I created a calculation, running sales total. Not that spectacular or fancy. We could have done it in any tool. I'm also going to go ahead and create a metric based on that. Call it a running, God, if I spell well, sales total, same name, and you want to, okay, you created a calculation and now metric. What's the difference? I'm going to show you. The difference is this. I'm going to leverage that running sales calculation inside of my metric, because this metric will be sales total on date. That is the measure that or the metric that I'm looking at. I want to see this calculated from June to 2005. I can filter on it if I want to, like restrict certain parts of it, but now I want to see the entire thing. I want to add a few dimensions to this, and I'm going to come to the reasoning why in a second. Now I hit a snag there. You see that? Opportunity created. Remove the date, count type, and opportunity type. Those are the additional dimensions that I want to have available to this metric, because I'm actually going to type filters to it to make sure that it actually interacts with other components as I move along. Row level setup and so forth. That's good. I can next. This is if I want to have more. Let's call it like fancy stuff on the chart. Do I want to have the trend? Do I want to try have a trend change alert? Do I have additional contributors, drivers, and so forth? What do I want to appear when I'm looking at this? I mean, the trend and so forth is good, but it's also additional calculations that could eventually cost performance. But I want to have all of that in here now for demonstration purposes. So now I created this metric, and I created a calculated field. Okay, good enough. What I could do is I could let's go take a look here. If I would go into a certain account, yeah, I usually use it like this. I could right here say, okay, this is a normal account page. Oh dang, it was already there. It is a regular account page on a Salesforce page. And what I can do, I can go in here and edit this page. My entire demo built upon the fact that it should have looked like that. And I can say, you know what? I want to have a Tableau metric in here so that people, when they look at this, they should also see a metric. And right now it's pointing towards total sales, but I want to change the semantic model we're using, and I want it to point to the running sales total that I just created. So that's the metric. That's how you embed like a Tableau component within the frame of a Salesforce page. You could, of course, embed this in other portals, in other pages, non-Salesforce, but I'm doing it here just for so this. I want to have the chart, some insights. Save this. It's good, and this is an embedded metric appearing in the train of thought, or in the eyes of a user of this place. So this is good, and from here anybody could like view the metric info, share it to Slack, or go directly back into Salesforce. I mean to Tableau. That's good. I've done that. That's a way to use the metric that I just created, to use the calculation that I just created. It's embedded in a metric, and then you can display it anywhere you want, and people could actually make some good use of that. What about the self-service part? You might wonder here, like, where's the traditional Tableau stuff? What if I want to create a new visualization based on this CRM data? I open the model, and some of you, if you haven't seen it before, you recognize the pages with the dimensions and the measures and my marks card and filters and so forth. Let's look at that from amount. Take amount like this, and look at the account. And my account types. Adding my account names, maybe a way to see what's going on there. I can maybe then take account, look it into color instead. And as you see, what am I doing? I'm sampling the data. I'm doing a bit of checking, like what's in here, what's going on. Do I have what I want? Do I have what I need? They're filtered or sorted alphabetically. Let's do that in descending. I'm doing a bit more of the self-service exploration that we're accustomed to from Tableau. Before I figure out if this is going to be a dashboard object or anything like that, I just want to know and understand what I have in front of me. And that's exactly what we have been used to using Tableau Desktop, Tableau Web Edit, and things like that when we're using and working with the data as regular analysts. So by all means, this is like the interface that will improve a lot going forward with additional visualization libraries and so forth. I've already seen, and here I'm going off on a ramp on the roadmap thing. I've seen like coming in here in near future the Sankey's, the waterfalls, the mappings, the some amazing tables and so forth. They're going to be all, I'm not going to say like all, but an amazing part of the traditional Tableau visualization libraries will be part of this experience right here. So I might actually going to be using this. I call it test one. Before I save it, I want to show this as well. Here with a little button. This is something that I would have loved to have in original Tableau as well when I started. The toggle action button. If I introduce, for example, ID here on details, so now I have an ID on my details page. You know what I'm doing there, right? So I'm adding an action there. The action in this case is going to be a Salesforce action. Whenever I click on the field name and I will leverage the account ID, I want my users to be able to make a post, create a link, ask a question, create a new case, a new account, maybe create a new lead or a new opportunity based off the entire library of Salesforce actions. In this case, like I take open a new record, yes, I've seen. And if I preview that, and if my users would be in this experience and they say, oh, what about image and voice communications? They click on that and they will go directly to that particular account. All right. So that's a way to embed things or links and to actions within the frame of a Tableau object. And again, I'm showing this because I think it's pretty good. It will add a tremendous amount of value, but it's also something that we don't currently have just like this in traditional Tableau, right? But we're building it in. We're learning from what we have, and we're adding some of the best pieces from previous experiences into this product as well. So that's going to be part of that. I save that now. And to wrap this up, I say, okay, we have built a couple of components, some nice things. What if I then go ahead and I want to add maybe a new page to this dashboard, executive summary, pipeline, and so forth. I'm going to add a new page here. And I'm going to take, first of all, a visualization. Yeah, let's do that one. It wasn't very pretty. I realized that, but it's at least a bar chart of used accounts. Take a metric. And see if we can find the one that I just built. Running sales total, that's the one we built 7 minutes ago. And then every now and then it does that for me. It's good. You get to see a real live demo. That's always good. Let's see. One more time. Take the metric. I'm not going to fake this. I'm going to use the ones that we just built. There you go. This. And it doesn't matter which order I put it. If you thought that was like the issue was that it hung the first time I opened it, but it can happen. All right, so I have my metric. I have my chart that I built. I will have be able to filter on, for example, a time dimension. And I will use this little cool thing. It's called a toggle. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting very, very used to this snap into grid action components here of this dashboard. This is pretty good. It saves me a ton of time when I'm doing stuff, and we have some amazing templates and so forth as well. And I just know that like how many vertical containers, horizontal containers, and so forth would have actually have needed to like put it all into places and this and that. I think it's really, really, really good way of working with my content here. So filter on that should fail. Filter on my things here. It works pretty well. So it's a new way of working with various actionable content pieces in a dashboard, in a report, or making information available to larger audiences. But again, it's a new way of doing it, and I think it works extremely well. I think it's going to be very, very useful to work with it, specifically from within the frame and scopes of traditional of Salesforce and so forth. But I will end my my demo there, and quickly here. I see the time's moving on. What we've seen is like Tableau Next built upon the Salesforce layer with the pre-built skills of Data Pro, Concierge, Inspector, with all these layers connected to Salesforce. We can do that by having the skill of Data Pro, where we're modeling the data, preparing, accelerating it. This is a way where we saw like you can use agentics, or you can create visualizations as well based off what of your train of thought. We have the concierge department where we can like ask conversational analytical questions, and being able to get a quicker response time on ideas of what am I looking at, what's my next action, what should I focus on, where should I go. It's an incredibly good addition to a traditional BI part. Inspector, that is beta right now, is going to be a bit more forward-looking, where we're setting alerts on metrics, getting proactive insights, not saying only, oh, this happened, but also this happened, what do you want to do? How do you want to act upon this? Do you want to create something, write an email, create a notification? And for example, maybe just dig deeper. Yeah, this happened. I see something just went down, but I can ask a question right there. Why did you do that? What happened? What's another frame around that outlier, that performance? So Inspector being beta coming here soon, probably going to be more talked about in the Dreamforce conference that Tore was mentioning. But a lot of good capabilities being added to the product here, I would think, and the semantics. What I do want to stress, last slide, is Tableau Next is worth giving a lot of focus, a lot of attention right now, because this is where it's a new product and so forth. That doesn't mean that CRMA, Tableau Cloud, desktop going anywhere. Absolutely not. We have way too many customers on server, like on-prem and so forth, or Tableau Cloud, not going anywhere. We have continue investments. There's a good roadmap around those products as well. And if Tore wants to bring me back sometime to do another talk, I could talk about the roadmap of where we're going with traditional Tableau Server, Tableau Cloud, and so forth. But the ambition is, of course, that Tableau Next will be the next gen platform. It's built upon new code, new availability, new technology, and so forth. This is the goal forward. So with that, I end and I say thank you. I realize I probably used up more time than I thought, but I at least got it together. So, over to you, Tore.
Takk. Sånn det jo når man blir ivrig, vet du, har mye å vise. Og ikke minst når en kjører en live demo, så kan ting ta lengre tid når det ikke fungerer, eller sant. Så det kan skje, og det går helt fint. Nå det jo opp til dere som på on the call her. Tar du og stopper dele skjerm, så skal jeg ta og dele min.
I'm trying to do that. Where do I do that?
Du inn på den Tableau Next fan, den oppe til høyre, den som selve møtet.
There we go. That wasn't too hard.
Det greit når du kan det. Og du fikk kanskje ikke med deg at midt når du hadde begynt å presentere, så gikk brannalarmen på hotellet her, så jeg måtte gå ned 9 etasjer.
Nei, det så jeg ikke.
Så det var, men det var, det var heldigvis en fake alarm som kom tilbake. Det et spørsmål fra Tor. Hvordan det med lisens for Tableau Next? Det jo en annen lisensmodell selvfølgelig enn den vanlige Tableau.
Jag inte någon licensspecialist. Men om du går in, Tore, och skriver på en browser, skriver what is Tableau Plus?
Ja, tänker du på pricing calculator eller bara?
Nej, den finns inte på pricing calculator. Men Tableau Plus license SKUn, license det kanske var den länken som du hade där, det vet jag.
Ja, for Tableau har jo sin egen sånn denne pricing for teams som popper opp her, men jeg vet ikke om den tar med seg. Han har Tableau Plus, men her står det Contact Sales Team.
Ja, det finns inget där. Men det finns en jättebra bloggpost som heter What is Tableau Plus?
Pop. Det Tableau sin egen, eller det...
Tableau sin egen.
Ja. Det bare Tableau der. Ja. Men den kan en klar finne hvis han vil.
Så om man intresserad av och liksom hur det licensieras, så det Tableau Plus licenskun som behövs för att använda Tableau Next. Och då har man dual usage av Tableau Next och Tableau Cloud. Och så.
Ja. Ja, for det som skal bare se om det jeg har jo 2 skjermer her, så det var litt vanskelig for meg å se både på den ene og den andre, for når du sitter på et hotell. Tableau Next tilgjengelig gjennom Tableau Plus-lisensen, ja, som Natalia sier. Ja. Så det jo bare til å ta kontakt med Natalia Trankvist, for eksempel, som jobber med salg i Tableau, eller ta kontakt med meg, som jo en partner på Tableau, så kan jeg henvise videre til de som eventuelt lurer på noe. Når det gjelder det kommersielle, da.
Yes.
Jeg tenkte bare å nevne det at nå har dere fått sett litt Tableau Next demo og så videre. Og inne på Trailhead Academy, så kan du gå inn og lage din egen bruker. Det jo gratis. Veldig gøy da å samle poeng. Jeg måtte jo sjekke deg, Peter. Du har jo da 100 000 poeng, så det litt mer enn meg. Jeg har 37 000. Men det går opp diverse sånne rangeringer da, og får badges og veldig moro det selvfølgelig. Men her det utrolig mye, du kan lage dine egne trail mixes. Jeg har lagt en egen på Data Cloud. Det finnes en trail mix som Salesforce har lagt, som heter Tableau Trail Mix. Og går du inn på den, så det da veldig mye læring som inni her. Så det ikke sånn at du trenger, sånn som for eksempel denne her, tar jo 17 timer estimert. Men det sånn, sett deg ned og ta en halvtime her og en halvtime der, så får du jo veldig mye innsikt i mye av både den generelle Tableau-biten, men også det som går på Tableau Next. Og i forhold til Tableau Next og dette med disse agentene som ble vist av Peter her, så det noe som heter en Agent Blazer Challenge, som en kan gå inn her, skal bare begynne Agent Blazer Series.
Yes.
Og her har jeg gått gjennom Champion, og jeg har kommet godt i gang på den som heter Innovator, og da får du et sånn demo-miljø hvor du kan sitte og lage agenter og prøve deg inn i Tableau Next, og prøve disse forskjellige tingene da. Og etter hvert, for å gå videre fra spesielt den Innovator og til å få den Legend, så det jo faktisk sånn type hands-on challenges. Du må lage egne ting for å uten for mye hjelp, så da må du jeg angrer litt på at jeg gjorde veldig mye av den Innovator før sommeren, for når jeg nå skal gå inn og fullføre disse tingene, så har jeg jo da selvfølgelig glemt ut mye av det jeg har gjort, men Trailhead, salesforce.com, eller akkurat den Agent Blazeren her, veldig praktisk å se på da. Så jeg tar også stoppe og deler der, for å se om det var noen andre Tor lurer på i forhold til Tableau Prep, som eksisterer i dag som et eget produkt. Vil det være sånne type funksjoner i den Tableau Next eller i det semantic layer?
Bra fråga. Vi har inte sett det än. Det finns eventuellt en roadmap, men nej. Just nu är Tableau Prep enbart och Tableau Cloud och traditional Tableau.
Ja, men så kan du jo i Tableau Prep I dag pushe ting til Data Cloud, så kan du bruke Data Cloud inn selvfølgelig. Men jeg vet hvorfor Tor spør hvorfor det har litt issues med Tableau Prep, så det sikkert derfor. Det noen andre spørsmål, Tor eller Mathias? Det var dere som igjen nå. Altså du kan få stille spørsmål du, Natalia, men du vet jo mye, vil jeg tro. Hvis ikke så ses vi forhåpentligvis fysisk, eventuelt I hvert fall virtuelt, den 20. november. Det vil jo Stockholm Usergruppe med på dette, og Peter, så hvis du får jo følge med der, så kan du møte opp med Walida-gjengen I Stockholm. Så det blir en bra usergrupp, det håper jeg. Så takk for presentasjonen. Takk for
jeg ikke sikker på at jeg kommer ha denne trøyen just da.
Jeg elsker den Tore-versjonen som du hadde I begynnelsen der. Det finnes, jeg har jo selvfølgelig I'm not Tore Levinsen buttons, jeg har flere av de, så de kommer du på Datafam, så blir det delt ut med sånne.
Ja, vi må jo prøve å lage med det Bergen-dialektet.
Ja, lykke til med det. Takk for praten, og ha en strålende helg, så ses vi plutselig neste gang.
Det gjør vi. Takk Tore. Ha det godt.
Ha det bra.